everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. This is Lindy here. On today's episode, we're going to be making some really cute little pumpkin terracotta pots that are perfect for Halloween and will take you all the way into fall. If you're like me, I prefer to have fall decor because it lasts me just a little bit longer and I can pull it out in September and have it out all the way through Thanksgiving. So I was at Dollar Tree and I saw different sizes of terracotta pots, so I was inspired to make little pumpkins out of them. So you're going to need varying sizes of pots. You're going to need some orange paint, black Sharpie markers. Now, I would suggest having a fine tip one and then some regular size ones, some fall ribbon, and then go outside and explore. My son and I had a really good time collecting different sizes of twigs, and we happened to find some leaves that were already changing color. If you live in an area where the leaves don't change color, you can absolutely use artificial leaves or just leave it off of your project. This is a really fun and easy project. It's something the kids can get involved with. You're going to go ahead and just paint your terracotta pot orange. Now, I love the disposable paintbrushes, as you guys know. And one little tip is to turn your pot right side up and paint this band first, because then you can paint the upper part of the pot. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to hold it as you've been painting. Now, you can choose to not paint it orange. You can paint it any color you want, make it more rustic. You can leave the terracotta plain colored if you want to, and put as many coats of paint as you choose. I like a little more subdued look, so one coat is plenty. It matches my house decor, which is a little more rustic. And if the kids are making these, I bet they would come up with some really fun color combinations. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I have the band painted. Now it's easy to set it down. When you're painting with these little acrylic paints, it dries extremely quickly on the terracotta, which is beneficial because you can make these projects very quickly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint all the way around and keep painting until I have my entire pot covered. Be sure that you paint the top as well. My little terracotta pot's been sitting here only about 10 minutes and it is completely dry. It's time to go ahead and add the little face that you would like. My suggestion is to outline it with a thin point Sharpie marker and then color it in with a regular Sharpie marker. You could also outline it in pencil if you want. And don't get caught up on face designs because you can always use the back of it or paint over if you've lightly traced the outline and you don't like how it is. But you know what? That's the great thing about pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns is they're all different. I'm just gonna go simple and give it some triangle eyes, a triangle nose, and then a fun little mouth. So just tracing let's see, give him some teeth. And if you mess up, just paint over it if you need to. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my thicker Sharpie marker to fill it in. Now notice I have two because when you start coloring in the big areas, the marker tends to go a little bit dry. If you don't have two Sharpies, just give it a little bit of rest and then come back to it. So you're just going to color right in. Now you could absolutely use black paint if you wanted to instead of a Sharpie. I like the precision that I get with a Sharpie marker. So go ahead and color in your jack-o'-lantern face and then you'll be ready for the rest of the project. Now that I've filled in his face completely, it's time to add the accent pieces. We had a really good time walking around our neighborhood finding little twigs. Now, I had a hard time finding a twig big enough that would fill this entire hole, but I thought to myself, well, I can just put hot glue because I'm going to be putting ribbon and things like that around it. So if you're making really big terracotta pots, you might actually need part of a tree stump, depending on how big that you are making. I also have these fun ribbons from Dollar Tree. I particularly like this one. It just has different fall sayings. And then this vintage cream colored lace ribbon is really cute. And I also have some raffia. My suggestion is to go ahead and tie the ribbon onto the stump before you glue it. And of course, cut the ribbon, long ribbon you think you're gonna need it because it's easier to just trim afterwards. So I cut them the same length. Let me get a piece of raffia here. And you can have a lot of fun with this. Find all different kinds of things around your house that you could even tie. All right. If you have an extra person handy in your house when you're tying this on, it makes it a lot easier. Or you could tie one at a time versus all of them at once. I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Just because it's wanting to run away from me, especially the raffia, it makes it a little bit harder. If you cut your ribbon very, very short, it makes it hard to tie that knot, okay? It's uneven, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to trim it, okay? Let me tie this lace on and then I'll decide if I want the raffia or not. I think I'll put a little piece of raffia. See what that looks like. If you don't like how it looks, you can always just cut it right off. Oops. Now, if you own a vinyl machine, you could absolutely cut out the face pieces with vinyl and adhere it to the pot as well. I kind of like how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the pot and then I'll glue it. And I'm going to add the fun leaf that I had found where the colors are just starting to change. So I'm going to face it towards me as I do this. So, oops, I need the face facing me so I know that I get it right where I want it to be. Let me add that leaf, and I'm actually going to just cut off the little stem. That way it makes it easier to just glue it right on. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and trim that ribbon. I always suggest trimming at an angle. Just makes your ribbon look a little bit nicer when it has when you have your finished product. And you want your ribbons to be somewhat even. Okay. Oh, my leaf is leaning forward. There we go. I adjusted it. Isn't that cute? So I had found different size pots and I actually made a whole family of pumpkin pots. So varying little sizes like a mom, a dad, and a baby. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified every single time that we upload a new video. I'll see you next time.